Unlock the hidden energies of the new moon, a signal for transformation and ascension awaits. I never expected a single dream to change everything. But that night, the sky pulsed with a light so eerie, it sent shivers down my spine. I stood at the edge of my reality, feet planted in uncertainty. The new moon hovered above dark and rich, like an unopened treasure chest waiting for the right hands to unveil its secrets. Somehow, I felt it beckoning me. It was more than just a celestial event, it was an invitation, an awakening. My heart raced as I stared into the blackness, feeling the magnetic pull of the moon's unseen energies. I closed my eyes, letting the cool breeze wrap around me like a protective shroud. Thoughts flooded me, swirling like autumn leaves caught in a storm. What if my life, mired in monotony, could shift? What if this was my moment? Behind my eyelids, images flickered, visions of laughter and fire, of dancing shadows and whispered promises. But they were just dreams, or were they? The earth murmured beneath me, pulsing with the rhythm of the moon's secret. I could sense the world holding its breath, waiting for me to take a step into the unknown. I had been searching for something, lost in the cracks of everyday life. Doubt gnawed at me, whispering that I was not enough, that I was stuck. But what if the new moon was the key? What if it held the answers I desperately needed? As I opened my eyes, the night hummed with energy. The leaves rustled, speaking in a language I barely understood. The stars above seemed to wink at me, daring me to embrace the mystery. But the questions lingered, heavy in the air. Could I truly transform? Could this beautiful darkness be the canvas for a new start? My gaze rested on the shadow where the moonlight kissed the earth. A flicker of doubt crossed my mind, uncertainty wrapped around me like fog. What would happen if I stepped beyond the veil? Just then, a sharp gust of wind sliced through the quiet. It ripped through my thoughts, scattering my hopes like leaves caught in a tempest. I felt the cold grip of fear settle in my chest. This transformation, this ascension, could it be real? Or was it just another mirage, another shining illusion that would fade with the dawn? I took a deep breath, my heart racing in my ears. The energies of this new moon were thick, electric. I could almost taste the possibility in the air. But there was a weight to it, too. Like walking a tightrope over an abyss, I understood. The cliff I was on was steep, and one misstep could spell disaster, yet as I stood there, a glimmer caught my eye, a shimmering reflection on the ground, like a secret waiting to unfold. My body trembled with urgency. What was this sign, this message meant just for me? I knew, deep down, that embracing the dark might just lead to light. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The shimmering reflection pulled my gaze down, revealing something remarkable nestled among the fallen leaves. A small, intricately carved stone glinted in the moonlight. It had an odd warmth to it, as if it were alive, resonating with a pulse that mirrored my own quickening heartbeat. I couldn't resist its allure. Bending down, I grasped the stone, feeling its energy vibrate through my fingers, sparking a connection that felt ancient and profound. Holding it close to my heart, I closed my eyes again, tuning into the vibrations surrounding me. A soft whisper seemed to emanate from the stone, a language of frequency that transcended words. Listen, it beckoned, wrapping its essence around my spirit. It was as if the universe was urging me to hear the unspoken truths lying beneath the chaos of my everyday existence. In that moment, I realized this journey was not solely about transformation, it was also an awakening to who I had always been beneath the layers of doubt and societal expectations. The stone felt like a key, one that promised to unlock deeper understanding if I dared to venture farther down the path of uncertainty. What secrets were buried beneath the surface of my consciousness? My soul hungered to know. With a deep breath, I steadied myself, the stone cradled in my palm. I turned my gaze back towards the moon, its influence riveting. Strange shadows danced around me, cast by the flickering light, creating an ethereal landscape that felt alive, a playground for exploration. Inspired, I began to walk, feeling the energy of the earth coursing beneath me, guiding my feet as I stepped forward into the unknown. As I ventured farther from my initial spot, I encountered a small stream, its water glimmering under the moon's watchful gaze. The sound of flowing water was soothing, as if it were a lullaby whispered from forgotten realms. Kneeling down, I let my fingers dip into the cool liquid, the sensation awakening memories I didn't know I possessed. Images of childhood laughter, summer days full of exploration, moments when life felt magical, everything came rushing back. In that stillness, I understood something profound. Our connection to nature is woven into our very being, a reminder of who we are when we shed the burdens placed upon us. The stream urged me to release my fears, to cleanse myself of the stagnation that had seeped into my bones. But what was it that I needed to let go of? What stories held me back, anchoring me in place? I stayed by the stream for what felt like hours, lost in thought. It was as if time had no hold here. I could almost hear the voices of ancients echoing through the water. Suddenly, I noticed a flash of light beneath the surface, an unearthly radiance. I leaned in closer, my curiosity piqued. What hidden gems lay intertwined in the flowing current? I peered deeper, and for a fleeting moment, I saw shapes forming, silhouettes of my dreams, hopes I had pushed aside amidst the noise of adulthood, vivid glimpses of the life I yearned to live. Awash with emotion, I recognized that my journey was not just about the moon or the stone, but about reclaiming lost pieces of myself. As I turned my gaze back to the moonlit sky, a new resolution blossomed within me. I would seek out these reflections from my past, diving deep into my memories to uncover the lessons hidden among them. There was a lifetime of wisdom waiting to be embraced, yet even as clarity washed over me, questions lingered, casting shadows in the corners of my mind. Could I face those memories without being consumed by them? What if confronting my past turned out to be more complex than I had anticipated? What if the very light I sought out became an overwhelming burden? As these thoughts swirled, the moon hung above like a guardian, a reminder that every ascent has its challenges, and the path may not always be clear. With the stone tucked safely in my pocket, I rose to my feet, the cool air invigorating my spirit. I had taken a step forward, but the journey had only just begun. What awaited me beyond the next turn in the path? What revelation still lay hidden in the darkness, waiting for the shimmering light of discovery? The shadows stretched longer as I ventured deeper into the woods, entwined with an exhilarating mix of trepidation and anticipation. Each footfall felt like a drumbeat echoing in the silence, a call from the earth to the very core of my being. The air crackled with a newfound energy, as if nature was conspiring to reveal its secrets to me. As I continued along the hidden trail, a change in the atmosphere wrapped around me, thick and charged. It almost hummed, pulsating with life. The leaves rustled above, creating a melody that seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of my heartbeat. I closed my eyes and paused, letting the sound wash over me like a gentle tide. Here, in this secluded sanctuary, I could feel the weight of past energies dissipating, creating space for something transformative to take root. Just ahead, I spotted an ancient oak, its gnarled branches stretching towards the heavens, a living testament to endurance. A magnetism drew me closer. The bark was rough beneath my fingertips as I placed my hand against it, and for an instant, I could feel the pulse of life coursing through its trunk, a pulse that echoed the whisper of the stone in my pocket. I lowered my head and listened, inviting the wisdom of the oak to entwine around my spirit. "What do you seek?" A voice, deep and resonant, resonated from within the tree. It wasn't a spoken word but an intimate communion, a knowing that transcended language and time. "I seek understanding," I replied, my breath catching in my throat. "I want to learn, to remember." "To remember is to awaken," the oak continued, its essence merging with mine. "But true awakening comes not only through memory but through embracing the present. What shadows linger in your heart? What chains still bind you to a past that no longer serves you?" I shuddered under this introspection, feeling the weight of my own hesitations. Memories flooded back, each one like a droplet falling into a vast ocean of possibility. Images of failure, fear, and longing swirled within me, haunting whispers of distorted truth. Was I prepared to confront the shadows? To unearth the emotions I had tucked away in the crevices of my soul? The wind picked up around me, carrying with it the sense of earth and growth, invigorating my resolve. Yes, there was turmoil in my heart, but denying it only served to prolong the suffering. Was it not within the embrace of discomfort that true transformation burgeoned? I opened my eyes, my hand still pressed against the rough bark, and committed to connect with the essence of my shadow. As I stepped back, the moonlight cascaded down, weaving through the branches above, creating an enchanting dance of light and shadows. The stone in my pocket began to thrum with warmth again, resonating with the oak's energy, urging me to continue forward. I sensed the promise of revelation, an assurance that this journey was unfurling just as it should. Guided by a pull I could not articulate, I walked on, my spirit alive with possibility. Suddenly, I found myself drawn to a clearing, where the ground softened underfoot, blanketed by delicate moss. Fireflies flickered in the air like scattered stars, illuminating what felt like a sacred space. In the center lay a stone circle, each slab engraved with intricate symbols and pulsating with its own vibrational frequency. I stepped into the circle, feeling a strange rush of energy envelop me. Standing there, I closed my eyes once more and let my body sway gently, cradled by the rhythm of the earth. Each symbol beckoned to me, unraveling echoes of wisdom lost to time. They imbued me with a sense of direction, a reminder that the answers I sought were not solely buried in my past but woven into the cosmos around me. As I navigated the mysteries drawn from these ancient stones, a vision crystallized before my mind. An image of myself standing proudly, my spirit unencumbered, radiating light and possibility. I saw shadows dispersing half-heartedly, retreating from the brightness I was destined to embrace. I reached out, yearning to grasp this version of myself and amalgamate it with whom I had been, yet, there still lingered a deep unrest as I emerged back into the breeze. How could I reconcile the light I sought with the shadows I feared? What roads lay before me that would require courage to tread? Each new revelation seemed to unveil deeper layers of uncertainty. Am I not only on a quest for understanding but also for acceptance, both of my light and my darkness? With these questions circling endlessly in my heart, I took a deep breath, summoning the strength to face the path ahead. Clutching the stone and embracing the whispers of the oak, I stepped out of the circle and felt the pulse of the universe synchronizing with my own once more. What magical transformations awaited in the mystical weave of life? And would I be brave enough to embrace the entire tapestry, with all its shadows and light? As night deepened, the moon hung heavy in the sky, casting its silver glow over the woods, bathing everything in a luminescent hue. I felt the weight of the impending new moon across my skin, a palpable energy that whispered of fresh beginnings, renewal, and the journey of transformation. I stood on the threshold of possibility, keenly aware of the messages swirling around me like the leaves caught in a gentle wind. The soft illumination illuminated not only the landscape but also the tendrils of awareness weaving through my consciousness. I felt a gentle tug, as if the air itself was encouraging me to dive deeper into the stillness. Remembering the ancient oak's words, I had opened a door to my own hidden energy, yet this new phase demanded that I further peel back the layers of my psyche. With renewed conviction, I ventured into the woods, the stone in my pocket pulsating steadily, reminding me of the connection I had forged with both the oak and the encircling stones. I was not just a traveler passing through, I was becoming an integral part of this sacred space. I allowed my intuition to guide me, each step echoing the cadence of the heartbeat within the forest. It was then that I encountered a figure cloaked in twilight, half hidden in the underbrush. They emanated an aura of profound wisdom, and as I approached, the figure revealed itself to be an elderly woman, her hair shimmering like threads of starlight. Her eyes held galaxies of experience, piercing through the veil of time and space. "Ah, seeker," she intoned, her voice a melodic whisper that seemed to resonate beyond the physical realm. "The moon calls for you, but to listen closely, you must first unbind the knots that hold you in place." "Who are you?" I asked, the weight of her presence both disarming and invigorating. "I am a keeper of stories," she smiled, the corners of her eyes crinkling with kindness. The stories of those who ventured before you, illuminating the trials, triumphs, and transformations of their journeys. Do you seek to hear? I nodded, entranced by her words, the idea of ancient tales weaving through the tapestry of my existence igniting a spark of curiosity within me. The new moon heralds a time for reflection, for letting go of the old and welcoming the new, she continued. But to do so, you must confront the shadows you wish to shed. Each one has birthed a teaching, a revelation. Would you care to explore? A wave of unease surged through me. What shadows lay in wait? I felt the demons of doubt and pain flit in the corners of my mind, eager to be acknowledged yet still afraid to step into the light. What will I find? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. You may find fear or perhaps freedom, she said, her gaze penetrating. It depends on the path you choose. Each story seeks to be heard, but only if you are brave enough to listen. With that, she beckoned towards a glade further down the path, the earth rippling with unspoken energy. Something within me stirred, perhaps the answers I had sought would unfurl in this moment. I followed her, intrigued by the unknown, heart pounding with anticipation. As we entered the clearing, the air buzzed with electricity. Scattered around were stones of every shape and size, each one resonating with a different frequency. The woman moved with fluid grace, touching each one lightly as if conducting an orchestra of energies. You see, she elaborated, each of these stones holds a memory, a part of the collective human experience. Some harbor grief, others hope, while some sing of love. Which will you choose to explore? I found myself drawn to a small, cerulean stone, its surface shimmering like the sea under the sun. It felt warm to my touch, pouring forth a deep, gentle energy. As I closed my eyes, a vision enveloped me. I was swimming in vast waters, deeply immersed in fear and sadness, yet as I floated, I felt buoyed by currents of resilience and strength. My heart ached to know more. There was a pull towards understanding the depths of my own sorrow and learning to transmute it into something beautiful. This stone, with its tranquil energy, invited me to release the burdens that kept me chained to the past. I had to let go of what no longer served me, not merely to forget, but to acknowledge and honor my journey. Let it guide you, allow it to transform, the elder urged softly. But remember, each release requires the courage to surrender. Will you embrace the unknown? Here lay the crux of my exploration, the delicate dance between fear and freedom, knowing and unknowing. Questions loomed large in my mind. Could I embrace the transformation that awaited me? What if, in this surrender, I found not only healing but the path to true ascension? With the cerulean stone cradled in my hand, I took a breath, feeling a surge of courage coursing through my veins. An unspoken agreement ignited within me, a commitment to break free from the shackles of my own making. As I looked from the stone to the moon, I wondered, would this choosing of my path lead to the ascension I sought or merely reveal further layers of my shadow? As the night deepened, I stood at the crossroads of transformation and uncertainty, waiting to see what the new moon would unfold, what new stories would emerge from my shadows, and how I might embrace the entirety of my being. The moon hung lower in the sky, a silver crescent breathing light into the waiting shadows of the forest. I stood at the threshold of that glade, the cerulean stone cool and soothing in my palm. Its energy coursed through me like a whisper, wrapping around my doubts and fears like gossamer threads. With every inhale, I felt the fabric of the night itself beckoning, inviting me deeper into the mystery of transformation. To know your shadows, you must first embrace them, the elder reminded me, her voice echoing with the wisdom of ages. I stepped forward, the vibrancy of the stones radiating warmth against the chill of the night air. Each stone seemed to hold a breath of the universe within it, waiting for the right moment to reveal its story. With a sudden rush of determination, I turned to face a large, jagged stone that towered among the others, its edges sharp yet captivating. It was darker than the others, a deep obsidian that absorbed rather than reflected light. Approaching it stirred something deep within, a recognition of my own unhealed wounds, fears masked by time and weariness. What stories were trapped inside this stone? I reached out to touch its surface, and in that moment, a vision cascaded through me that I found myself in a place of chaos, loud voices, sharp words, and a cacophony of emotions swirled around me like storm clouds. I clutched my heart, feeling the ache of memories, moments of betrayal, of loss, of love turned sour. As I journeyed through this storm, the obsidian stone revealed its secret. Amidst the turmoil lay the seeds of understanding. Each wound echoed the same truth, each scar a reminder that pain often bore the gift of wisdom. To confront what you fear is to unveil profound beauty, seeker, the elder whispered, interrupting my spiraling thoughts. For in each dark moment, light is born anew. Will you glean the gift from your pain? I hesitated, the question lingering like a soft mist. The memory of my past clung tightly as if taunting me to hold on to it, to remember it forever. Yet something within me surged an intense desire to break free from the loop of my suffering. The night unfolded around me, rich with potential, drawing closer to that profound release. As I moved my hand away from the stone, suddenly I recalled the ancient oak's words echoing in my mind. They had spoken of the cycles of growth, how roots must penetrate the dark earth before any sprout could reach for the sun. I needed to dig deep into the soil of my being, to acknowledge both the light and shadow entwined within. Adrenaline coursed through me, an essence made of both fear and exhilaration. Where do I go from here? I ventured, casting my gaze back to the elder. Her eyes twinkled like stars caught in the ocean depths. The path is yours to choose, she replied, her tone warm and inviting. For freedom does not lie solely in casting off. Sometimes, it nurtures in learning to hold both the love and the loss, the healing and the hurt. Can you convene with your shadows, listen to their truths? The weight of her question anchored itself in my soul. I gazed once more upon the dark stone, feeling its energy dance delicately along my fingertips. What if I sought out the lessons hidden within my past rather than merely pushing them aside? What if this journey of transformation was not just about release but about reclaiming power, a power that intertwined both light and dark? With newfound clarity, I stepped back from the stone. The energy around me shifted. I understood I was not alone in this. The stones, the forest, the moon, and the whisper of the wind provided assurance that I was part of a greater narrative. The cacophony of emotions had a role, a necessary part of my story, holding wisdom that could guide my journey forward. In that moment, as the forest held its breath, I felt a profound question emerge from the depths of my spirit. Could I truly engage with the shadows that haunted me, weaving their tales into the tapestry of my life? And was it possible that through this communion, would uncover not only fragments of my soul, but also pathways to true healing and ascension? The new moon awaited, a promise hanging in the sky, a signal for profound transformation. I stood on the threshold of possibility, facing the boundless night with a heart ready to embrace the unknown. A journey deeper than I had ever imagined lay ahead, and I wondered what stories of power and liberation awaited me in the darkness. As dawn breathed life into the forest, I found myself back at the glade, the aura of dusk still lingering like a forgotten lullaby. The cerulean stone pulsed gently in my palm, a steady reminder of the revelations bestowed upon me just hours before. The world seemed to hum with a subtle vibration, as if the trees themselves were whispering secrets to one another. I knelt beside the jagged obsidian stone that had sparked my introspection, its surface cool to the touch. The stillness enveloped me, inviting me to explore the echoes of my past with a further sense of curiosity. What more can I learn from you? I whispered, seeking a deeper understanding of my own shadows. As if in response, a sudden gust of wind enveloped the glade, swirling fallen leaves around my legs, lifting them into an ethereal dance. I closed my eyes and surrendered to its touch. The entire forest became a canvas, and colors unfurled behind my eyelids: bold greens, deep blues, and the fiery reds of autumn. With each rush of breath, I felt the essence of nature merging with my spirit, illuminating corners of my heart previously shrouded in darkness. When I opened my eyes, a soft quartet of deer emerged from the underbrush, their movements fluid and graceful. They paused, regarding me with eyes that held both wisdom and innocence. I felt a connection, as if they were sentinels of the forest, guardians of the ancient truths yet to be revealed. One stepped closer, its gaze piercing through the layers of pretense I had crafted around my wounds, laying bare the vulnerability that lingered beneath. "What do you see?" I asked, my voice barely a breath. The dear's presence stirred something deep within, a recognition of the yearning for healing. It stood still, as if waiting for me to decipher the silent message lingering in the air. In that stillness, my thoughts drifted to the elder's words from the night before. To convene with your shadows, perhaps they were an integral part of my transformation, the guideposts along a path I had yet to traverse. I took a breath and realized that the fear I had carried could also be reframed as an anchor, a source of grounding amid the chaos of transcending my past. With palpable resolve, I closed my eyes again and reached out to the energies of the glade. I envisioned the stones, the intertwining roots of the ancient oak, and the delicate branches of every tree, all foundational elements of my growth. Each entity thrummed with life, a testimony to resilience born of adversity. I felt the stirrings of those past moments, painful and sharp, yet cocooned within the gentle embrace of time and understanding. It was then that I heard it, the soft whisper of a breeze weaving through the branches, crafting a melody only my heart could recognize. It sang of evolution, of the cyclical dance between loss and growth. Caught in the rhythm of this serene epiphany, I began to feel the urge to express what had remained locked inside. I needed to unearth those unvoiced stories, not to dwell in the hurt, but to honor them, to breathe life into the lessons forged in discomfort. I took a step toward the stone, prepared to unearth my truths. "What do you wish to tell me?" I murmured, the words floating into the very fabric of the forest. As the sunlight poured through the trees, illuminating the glade like a sacred altar, I received a fleeting vision. I saw myself standing before a vast ocean, the waves crashing against the shore with determination. Each wave symbolized a moment from my past, a tumultuous tide washing over me, and yet, just as they rose angered and fierce, they receded, leaving behind polished stones glistening in the sunlight. The revelation struck deep. The chaotic waves represented my emotions, momentary and evolving, yet beneath them lay treasures waiting to be unearthed. I realized that I must not only endure the storm but also learn how to dance upon the shore, unfazed by the ebb and flow of life's challenges. I lingered in that insight, savoring its essence. Was it truly possible to embrace both my storms and shores, to find harmony in navigating the depths of my soul? I wondered what might emerge from this merging of shadows and light. The glade pulsed with possibility, and the air shimmered with unspoken answers, yet a lingering question echoed in my spirit: could I harness the energies of this new moon, drawing forth the hidden gifts of my past to illuminate the path ahead? As I stood there, anticipation wrapped itself around my heart, and an unquenchable desire to uncover the depths of my journey stirred within me. The forest awaited my acknowledgement, and I felt the stirring of profound transformation poised on the horizon, waiting to unveil itself in the days to come. The sun began its slow arc across the sky, warming the glade and casting playful shadows on the earth. As I breathed in the crisp air, I felt a presence, one that was both comforting and profound. A rustle in the underbrush drew my attention, and I turned to see an owl perched upon a low branch, its eyes sharp and piercing. Perhaps it was the guardian of wisdom, waiting to share its insights on this next chapter of my journey. The owl regarded me with an intensity that felt both imposing and inviting. I stepped closer, sensing that I was about to receive an ancient teaching. "What do you know of transformation?" I murmured softly, remembering the vision of the waves. The owl tilted its head, as if weighing the meaning of my question, and then let out a soft hoot that echoed through the trees, reverberating within me. In that moment, I found myself lost in contemplation, surrounded by the essence of the forest, where every rustle and whisper had a story. The owl took flight, gliding silently through the branches overhead. I felt the urge to follow its path, a shimmering trail of curiosity ignited within me. Gathering my resolve, I stepped forward into a tangle of vines and blooming flowers, each leaf vibrant with the colors of the season, as if nature itself was beckoning me deeper into its heart. As I ventured further, I began to notice markings on the bark of trees, intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. I paused to explore one such tree, tracing my fingers over its gnarled surface. The grooves told tales of time, the struggle of growth against the winds, the gentle caresses of rain nourishing the roots, and the fierce embrace of sunlight inspiring upward reach. My heart quickened at the realization that I too was a tree in the journey of life, enduring storms, nurturing roots of resilience, and aspiring toward enlightenment. That I closed my eyes and allowed the energies around me to guide my thoughts, letting go of preconceived notions. Suddenly, the winds shifted, carrying the scent of flowers that bloomed beyond my sight. The air hummed with a magnetic pulse, drawing me toward the unseen. What secrets lie hidden behind this tapestry of nature? What whispers awaited to converge with my own life story? I followed the currents of the breeze, allowing it to lead me to an open clearing suffused with moonlight. The juxtaposition of light and shadow danced around me, creating an otherworldly glow that felt simultaneously disorienting and liberating. Here, as the new moon hung above like a silent sentinel, I felt compelled to commune with its energies. Kneeling in the soft grass, I gathered the essences of both earth and sky around me. With each breath, I envisioned drawing upon the moon's pull its promise of new beginnings. I closed my eyes tightly, letting go of the need to understand fully, to control the outcome. Instead, I sent a prayer reverberating into the night, a call for intuition, for transformation, for the wisdom of my shadows. In that sacred moment between breaths, a vision flickered to life in my mind's eye. I saw a myriad of small seeds, each one unique, held within the clasp of hands that belonged to an ancient figure, whose features I could not discern. Plant them, the figure whispered, the words echoing with significance, but do not rush their growth. I opened my eyes slowly. I understood, the seeds represented all that I had gleaned from my past experiences, the lessons, the heartaches, the triumphs. I could not force them to sprout, they required time, patience, and care. Each decision and feeling was a seed that would manifest in its own divine timing, gathered under the watchful eyes of the universe. But then a new thought emerged: how would I know which seeds to nurture? How could I discern what memories, fears, and hopes deserved space in my heart and consciousness? Each question left an imprint on my spirit, echoing like the gentle hoot of the owl, an invitation to delve deeper, to engage with the enigma of my own journey. As the moonlight danced through the leaves above, unfurling mysteries yet to be unlocked, I felt the weight of potential settling into my bones. Transformation awaited, a tapestry still half woven, filled with threads of unencumbered hope and lingering doubts. What blossoms would flourish when the time was right? And as I nurtured the seeds within me, could I remain steadfast in my trust of the process? The night was alive with whispers, urging me to embrace uncertainty as a part of my spiritual growth. And beneath the vibrant expanse of stars, I asked myself once more, how do I cultivate the hidden gifts of my past when the path forward still lies shrouded in mystery? I rose from the soft embrace of the grass, grounded yet elevated by the vision I had received. The air around me seemed denser now, charged with a vibrant energy that thrummed in harmony with my heartbeat. Each pulse of the earth beneath my feet called to me, a soft reminder that I was both part of this world and a seeker upon it. Stepping into the shadows beyond the clearing, I followed the serendipitous currents that beckoned me forward. The forest enveloped me, its hushed whispers filling my mind with a kaleidoscope of thoughts. The owl's presence lingered in my consciousness, a bridge connecting me to the wisdom that awaited. I paused near a babbling brook, its waters reflecting the starry expanse above, a mirror of the inner cosmos I yearned to explore. Each ripple held secrets, memories, and a flow that felt both soothing and urgent. That I knelt beside the brook, cupping the cool water in my hands. The crystal clarity invited me to release my burdens within its depths, so I whispered my fears and doubts to the water, letting go in the sacred ritual of acknowledgement. The currents washed over my fingers, carrying away the weight of unanswered questions, momentarily silencing the storm that resided in my mind. What would it mean to surrender fully? The idea felt daunting yet liberating, like allowing the river to guide my journey rather than grappling against its flow. As the brook danced onward, I sensed the presence of a new companion in my exploration. A delicate flutter caught my eye, a butterfly, vibrant and adorned with patterns that held infinite beauty. It alighted on a nearby stone, its wings quivering like the flicker of hope ignited within me. "What gifts can you show me?" I murmured, captivated by its grace. The butterfly lingered a moment longer before taking flight again, spiraling upwards before veiling itself in the night's embrace. The vision of transformation echoed within, connecting me back to the seeds I carried. I pondered, perhaps the butterfly truly illuminated the soul's rightful path. Emboldened, I continued my journey, the small footsteps I took resonating with clarity and purpose. Here, I was reminded that every creature, every leaf, and every whisper of air held a narrative that intertwined with the universe's grand design. The trees seemed to lean closer, revealing more of the intricate markings that surrounded me once again. They were not mere patterns but rather inscriptions of ancient truths. As I reached out, I traced my fingers across the bark, feeling the pulse of history and the echoes of wisdom that whispered of interconnected destinies. Suddenly, I felt a shift in the energy surrounding me, a pulse, a vibration that pulsated like a heartbeat. It emanated from a grove of luminous flowers, each bloom glowing softly, drawing me inexorably closer. Their white petals embraced the dark, seemingly vibrant with a language of their own. I stepped forward, entranced, kneeling among them. I inhaled their sweet fragrance, rich with the promise of rebirth and potential. One flower, more radiant than the rest, beckoned, its light dancing alluringly. As I approached, I noticed a glimmering crystal nestled in its heart, a heart bearing not just beauty but a vibrant pulse of energy, as if it resonated with the very essence of unfulfilled dreams. Instinctively, I reached out, holding the crystal in my palm. It radiated warmth, resonating with the questions swirling within me. What dreams do I carry that remain unexplored? What hidden desires await their expression? Under a veil of moonlight, the crystal became a conduit, opening a doorway into the depths of my spirit. In that sacred moment, visions flooded my consciousness, a tapestry of moments I had both cherished and feared. Each thread was vibrant with emotion, a constellation of possibilities waiting to be woven into a greater whole. Yet, they remained unresolved, waiting for my courage to plant them within the fertile soil of my being. I pondered the delicate dance of potential and the mystery of their unfurling. How could I resurrect these fragments of self, nurturing them into fruition without forcing the bloom? The whispers of the flowers seemed to affirm my questions, humming with the wisdom that answers could only come to those willing to listen and allow space for deep introspection. As the moon reached its apex in the velvety sky, casting ethereal shadows on the earth, I felt a surge of gratitude wash over me. I too was part of this cosmic tapestry, a weaver in the artistry of existence. The fragrances of the forest mingled with the light of the moon, and I understood the significance of being present in both the light and shadow phases of the journey. With the crystal still in hand, I asked into the vastness, what steps must I take to nurture the dreams that dwell within me? How do I lean into the vulnerabilities of my spirit to embrace this transformation? The profound silence of the universe answered with gentle insistence. What if the journey itself was the transformation, every question propelling me deeper into discovery? As the night wrapped around me like a cloak, I felt the pulse of the world surrounding me, beckoning me onward into the unknown, a question lingering in the depths of my heart. How do I dare to embrace the full spectrum of my soul's desires when the path is still unfolding before me? With the dawn's first light spilling through the trees, I found myself surrendering to the serenity of morning. The crystal remained nestled in my palm, a talisman of hope, guiding me toward the new mysteries that awaited just beyond the shadows. The air was alive with the melody of awakening birds sang harmonies that floated like feathers on the breeze, and beams of sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating ethereal patterns on the forest floor. In this sacred hush, I felt the call of the brook, now echoing more softly yet palpably alive. It urged me to follow its flow, as I brushed away the remnants of lingering dreams still cloaked in the fog of night. Each step forward felt purposeful, intent on shedding the still moments of quiet contemplation that had only just begun to unravel the enigma of my soul. As I walked, I began to notice the forest in new shades. The vibrant greens bloomed brighter, the colors rich with life, as if celebrating my emergence from the cocoon of uncertainty. I stopped to observe the foliage, marveling at their resilience. How had they thrived in the undulating rhythms of nature's seasons? Each leaf, weary and worn yet vibrant in its complexity, echoed the notion that every cycle held potential for renewal. Then, an intriguing burst of energy came toward me, drawing my gaze upward. A flock of geese flew overhead, their honks sharp against the morning calm. They moved effortlessly in formation, gliding with a purpose that mirrored the yearning within my own spirit. I wondered, how often do we wander aimlessly, forgetting to align with our true direction and purpose? Inspired, I whispered to the sky, guide me. Let me learn the art of flight. Their dance above invited me to embrace unity without surrendering individuality. This, I understood, was part of the alchemy of transformation, each spirit thriving in community while nurturing its unique essence. As the geese retreated into the distance, I felt the pulsating energy of the crystal in my hand grow warmer, almost as if responding to the song of the wild. Without thinking, I lifted it towards the sun as though attempting to ignite its inner radiance. Channeled through me, the energy surged forth a fusion of longing and potential. In that moment, the harmony resonated deeply, whispering that each of us harbors an inner light capable of illuminating pathways previously veiled in darkness. Continuing along the soft earth, the ground began to incline slightly, guiding me to a serene vantage point. As I reached the crest of a hill, I beheld a breathtaking panorama. The valley below lay cloaked in mist, a sea of dreams waiting to cascade into reality. I closed my eyes and breathed deeply, welcoming a flood of questions. What visions stir within this canopy of morning hope? What manifestations reside in the undulating rhythms of this waking world? As I opened my eyes, I noticed a glimmer on the horizon, a delicate silhouette of a figure making their way toward me, woven into the tapestry of nature. Each step they took was deliberate, a dance that spoke of ancient wisdom. I felt an immediate intrigue, an intuitive sensing that this was another sign, perhaps a teacher or a fellow seeker. The figure, a woman draped in earth-tone fabric, with hair cascading like flowing water, held the aura of the wilds, as if she embodied the forest itself. She moved gracefully, her presence radiating calm. As she approached, I felt the air change, growing thicker with expectation. This stranger had tapped into something primal and raw, an energy I craved to understand. "Welcome, seeker," she spoke, her voice resonating like the toll of a distant bell. "You carry the crystal, a beacon of hidden energies. Are you prepared to unlock its secrets?" My heart quickened. What secrets await me? She gestured towards the valley, her hand indicating the mist that cloaked the ground. "Those are your fears transformed yet intact, waiting to rise with you into clarity. To embrace this unfolding, you must consent to feel the depths of your own shadow, to recognize the fears that tether your spirit before you can soar." A part of me quivered at the implication, and I questioned whether I truly possessed the courage to unravel my fears, yet her presence stirred something deep within. "How does one cultivate that courage?" I asked, feeling the weight of vulnerability upon my chest. "Courage is not the absence of fear but the recognition that your heart's desires outweigh the hesitation that binds you. You must realize that every fear you confront fuels your ascent into transformation." The woman smiled knowingly, then turned her gaze back to the horizon. "In moments yet to come, align yourself with the energy of the new moon. Let it mark the turning point of your journey of purification, intent, and the inevitable release of what no longer serves you." With that, she infused the still air with a final incantation, then faded into the embrace of the forest as if she had never been there at all. That I stood alone on the hill, the weight of her words enveloping me like a shawl of secrets, igniting a light within me that urged to flicker into a flame. As I looked once more at the valley, intertwined with the pulse of my heartbeat, the unanswered questions surged forth. What abilities lie dormant within me yet to be acknowledged? How will I navigate the shadows that must be met on the path of authenticity? With each breath, I emerged with the understanding that embracing transformation is a journey unto itself, a sacred rite of passage through each shadow, each fear. The murmurs of the forest faded into a resolute whisper, one that beckoned. How can I harness the new energies within me, embracing each aspect of my journey as a crucial step toward the light? As I stood atop the hill, the dawn of realization began to break within me, filling me with newfound clarity. The valley, once cloaked in mist, now shimmered under the gentle embrace of the rising sun. I took a moment to ground myself, feeling the earth beneath my feet, rich with potential, a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of my transformation. In the stillness of that moment, I closed my eyes and surrendered to the currents of energy flowing around me. I could feel the heartbeat of the earth synchronizing with my own, as if a wise elder was whispering the secrets of the universe into my very soul. The energy of the new moon, which had once felt overwhelming, was now a beckoning light, urging me to release what had held me captive. With a deep breath, I envisioned the fears that had nestled themselves within me, darkened roots lurking beneath the surface. What if I allowed myself to confront these shadows? What if I chose to acknowledge the pain tied to my past not as a weight, but as a source of strength? The quiet resolve blossomed within me, igniting the fire of courage that had slumbered. "Every fear you confront fuels your ascent," echoed the words of the woman, a mantra that resonated deeply. I felt a magnetic pull, a recognition that I was not merely shedding darkness, I was evolving, reclaiming the power buried beneath the layers of uncertainty. My heart raced, filled with the anticipation of what lay ahead. That I raised the crystal high above my head, allowing the sunlight to dance upon its surface. In that act, I offered a silent prayer, a pact with the universe to embrace the journey ahead. "Guide me," I whispered. "Help me to weave my fears into the tapestry of my light." The energy surged, and the crystal pulsed with warmth, as if agreeing to the intentions I had set forth. As I stepped back from the hillside, I sensed the forest enveloping me in its embrace, vibrant with the energies of the new moon, a sacred time for awakening. Each leaf, blossom, and animal resonated with a symphony of possibilities, gently urging me to take the next step along my path. The clearing where I had previously gathered my thoughts shimmered with newfound clarity, each blade of grass standing proud against the glistening dew. I walked with purpose towards that sacred space, allowing the whispers of the forest to guide my steps. Shadows that once felt heavy began to unfurl and dissolve into the light surrounding me, leaving behind only the lessons they had nurtured. With every heartbeat, I felt my essence growing, a radiant beam of potential. I knelt at the foot of the ancient oak once more, tracing its gnarled bark with reverence, as if seeking the wisdom it held within. "Teach me to embrace my shadows," I implored. "Show me how to transform my fears into the fuel that propels me forward." It was then that I felt it, a flicker of connection, a pulse that echoed through the roots of the tree and into my very being. Images surged forward, the trials I had faced, the pain I had endured, and the shadows I had shunned. They swirled around me, not as burdens to bear but as stepping stones toward my ascension. I was reminded that these experiences formed the foundation of my spirit, each struggle carrying the potential for profound insight and growth. Standing beneath the canvas of branches, I took a deep breath and surrendered once more to the unfolding moment. The ancient oak whispered its approval, reminding me that acceptance is not merely passive, it's an active choice, a decision to embrace both the light and the dark within our hearts. As I gazed up at the new moon, now glowing in the sky, I felt the shimmer of energy envelop me, a cocoon of possibility, nurturing me through this transformative process. "Thank you for this journey," I whispered to the night sky. "Thank you for the awakening." With that, I closed my eyes and surrendered to the flow of the universe, allowing it to carry me away into the depths of the unknown. Finally, I understood, transformation is not a singular moment defined by before and after, but an ongoing dance with our shadows, our light, and the beautiful complexity of existence. As I stepped back into the world, I carried the weight of my journey but also the light of my awakening. The layers of my spirit were unspooled, revealing the vibrant tapestry that was my essence, the fears I had faced, the lessons I had learned, and the love that illuminated even the darkest corners of my being. And that unity of light and shadow, I felt at peace, knowing that I was becoming the artist of my own life, weaving each experience into a greater story. The forest resonated with the song of my soul, inviting me to sing freely, dance openly, and embrace the infinite potential that lay ahead. And as I took my first steps into the world anew, I understood this profound truth: to awaken is to embody both the light and the dark, to transform our fears into the very fabric of our being, guiding us towards the ascent of our soul. In this intertwining dance, we uncover our true essence, boundless and radiant, free to rise like the phoenix into the dawn of our awakening.